Cincinnati.
Great game. 50 seconds to go. Hurts. Deep shot. Hauled in. Devontae.
Sure. And before the press conferences even start. I mean, we could talk for 45 minutes just about how atrocious the defense is.
And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on DSM Media. We're live, as always, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. You know the drill. Smash that like button, smash that share button, and go over to the YouTube page and make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe, turn the notifications on, because the easiest way to get involved with the show, comment on the YouTube page. That's where we can put your comments and questions right up on the board and answer them live on the air like these examples. So we got a jam-packed show. Obviously, this Football Friday. We're going to be talking Super Bowl. I got a jam-packed group of guests here. We got one more coming. He's got a little issue technically. He'll be here shortly. But I am Phil Stifle, as always, at Bearded Knowledge. I got my man Trev from Ref the District podcast. You've seen him on my shows before. This guy does a kick-ass job over there with the Washington Commanders. I got to make sure I teach myself to say the Washington Commanders. He does a great job with the Ref the District team. Welcome, Trev. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing, Phil? Let's talk some Super Bowl stuff.
I cannot wait to talk Super Bowl. There's the greatest game of the year. Then I got right below him. I got my man. You've seen him on here as well before. Marc Saulino, founder of Statement Games. Marc, how you doing today?
Doing all right, Phil. Thanks for having me, Trev. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Marc. What's going on?
Marc, for anybody that's just seeing you for the first time, tell everybody a little bit about Statement Games and what you got going on there.
Yeah, sure. So we kind of invented as a company a different form of fantasy sports at statementgames.com. We operate free-to-play games. A little bit different. We create games around individual contests. You join a contest. I present you with a list of anywhere between 50 to 60 different props as it pertains to a specific event. Von Miller over under 5.5 combined tackles for the Super Bowl. Rams over or under 23.5 combined points for the game. You go through the list of props. You need to make 10 selections. You rank those 10 selections in order of confidence from 10 through 1. As the game plays out, if your number 10 point becomes correct, you get 10 points. If 9 through 1 are incorrect, well, now you just have a total of 10 points. You'll play in a league of anywhere between 8 to 12 people. Person with the most points at the end of that specific event that you're playing in wins. You compete for various different, prizes and rewards. All free to play.
Yeah, awesome. It's great. And actually, Statement Games, if you haven't checked out Statement Games, it's perfect for Super Bowl because it's all Super Bowl is all about gambling. You know what I mean? So
yeah, very true.
It's great for it. And Aaron was here. He jumped out. Maybe he'll jump back in here in a minute or two. We'll try to get Aaron. And Trev, real quick, tell everybody. I mean, Ref the District. I know obviously the Washington Commanders season's over, but you guys are still doing podcasts. You guys got a gambling podcast as well, and you guys are going to be going live, talking all the different prop bets and betting on the Super Bowl on Sunday.
For sure. It's called All Bets Aside. We started about, I guess, a little over a month ago. Every Sunday, 11 o'clock, we just do Ref the Parlay. We would each do a parlay pick and make our own parlay. We do Game of the Week, Lock of the Week, Upset of the Week. And this Sunday, we're going to do a bunch of different Super Bowl props from the national anthem on down to the challenge flag, if there is one. So
I've got the DraftKings prop bet screen up on my board here. All the prop bets, man.
Hey, Trev, good luck with that. That sounds pretty cool.
I appreciate it. Yeah, tune in, Marc. It's 11 o'clock on
definitely.
YouTube. So.
You can find him.
I'll hit you up on Twitter. Maybe there's something
at
we
Ref
can
the
just have a
District
sidebar conversation.
Group.
Okay.
These
sounds
guys
good.
are great. Yeah. And hey, look, this is it. This is fun. How often do you get a Philadelphia Eagles fan, a Washington Commanders fan, and a New York Giants fan all on the screen at the same time, and no one's fighting, no one's screaming?
Exactly.
I avoided bringing on a Cowboys fan, so that was
Thank you.
smart.
Yeah, maybe, but this is kind of like doing penance, So once a year is good. It's more than enough.
That's right. There you go.
I get my confession out of the way.
Yeah, and there we go.
All right,
you guys stay in your lane, I'll stay in mine, and we're good.
Yeah.
All right, before we get to the betting part of it, let's talk the game itself, guys.
Yeah.
All right, so Trev, we'll start with you.
Okay.
I've spent a lot this week talking about the youth of the Bengals versus the urgency of the Rams. Because you got a lot of guys on the Rams, the Matthew Staffords, the Aaron Donalds, the Rams, the guys that have been in the league for a little while. And, is there a sense of urgency that the Rams have to win this game? And is that pressure that could cause them to collapse, you think, or pressure that might take them to the next level? Because that's when I make my prediction on this game, that's still the line that I'm leaning on is the urgency.
I like that. I think it is an urgency, a must-win game for the Rams. I mean, they had Jared Goff. They did the same thing, and they didn't win the Super Bowl. So you went and put all your chips in for Matt Stafford, and same result. You got more weapons. You got OBJ on the opposite of Cooper Kupp this time. You got a little bit of running game, even though they're banged up. You still got a little bit one, and you got Von Miller on the defense side to help with Jalen Ramsey and Leonard Floyd to help with Aaron Donald. So I do believe the pressure is on for Joe Burrow, and I think that the Rams have an advantage because, like you said, they're veterans. They've been in the league. Von Miller's already been here once and won one. Aaron Donald's been here once but lost. He's already been here. So they know what's at stake. They know how important this is versus the young catching fire into the season. They were 10-7, haven't been there before. But Joe Burrow has also been the spotlight for championships in his time too, just not the Super Bowl. So I agree with you, Phil. I think, it's the pressure for the veterans against the youth.
Sure. So joining us, AB, are you there? Can you hear us, AB? I don't think AB's there. I don't think AB's there. We can hear you. We can hear you. Your phone dropped there. Mark, real quick, while we try to figure out AB's situation there, what are your thoughts on that whole urgency versus, the youth? And there's no pressure on the Bengals, obviously, at this point. That this is, no one thought they were going to get to the Super Bowl at this point. So, is there a theory where the lack of pressure makes you play looser, or the urgency, of the Rams, does one or the other give you the advantage in a big game like the Super Bowl?
I understand what you're saying. I'll take issue with a little bit of what you're kind of saying here. I mean, after all, this is the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a sense of urgency on both teams here.
Okay.
Yes, you have like a little bit of an experience from a Rams kind of perspective, but I don't think that experience kind of trumps anything else going on with that game here. I mean, it was just a couple of weeks ago that Matthew Stafford just won his first playoff game. Historically, I mean, yeah, I understand from a St. Louis perspective, like the Rams kind of had success here, but new franchise, or a moved franchise, a relocated franchise playing in a new building. I don't necessarily get like a sense of history, recent history in terms of the team of the Rams being associated with the city of Los Angeles. And from a youth perspective, yes, it comes across that the Cincinnati Bengals are a little bit more of a youthful, inexperienced kind of team here. But I'm sure every single one of them has heard that kind of narrative that just because you're actually here now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting back to this game tomorrow here. So I 100% firmly believe that both teams have a strong sense of urgency. I mean, they called it the big game for a reason. So that's kind of what I'm looking at.
An excellent point, and I did bring that up this week as well, because a lot of people say, "Oh, it's Joe Burrow's first time; he'll have lots of opportunities." But I'm sure you guys can agree.
Yes, that's who.
The AFC compared to the NFC,
Loaded.
the AFC has Joe Burrow. They have Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. The
Justin
dude
Herbert.
Justin Herbert. I mean, there's no guarantee that he ever. I mean, how many Super Bowls did Philip Rivers get to play in? And he was considered this great young quarterback.
Exactly.
And he can never get past it. So it's a great point on your part, Mark. The one that I did try to also counteract this week, and it makes a lot of sense.
It does make a lot of sense.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, us kind of like Giant fans are a little bit smarter than people down in Washington or Philadelphia. So
always a Giant. It's something that
isn't that good, but hey, you know what? I got to hang my head on something.
It's something to water
True.
Yeah, although I don't want to talk Giants, but I'm a little concerned about the Giants right now because they actually made some non-Giant moves.
Yeah, they did. I
know.
So we'll see.
George chiming in saying, we're talking about it. Marino would have lots of opportunities. Yeah, I think he only played in one Super Bowl in his whole entire career. So,
and I think it was his rookie year too, right? Or was it his second year?
First or second year? Yeah, absolutely. It was before I was watching football. I was still like at that point.
Yeah. Same.
So, all right. So the urgency versus the youth. There's a little urgency on both sides. Then, Mark, what would you say? Either side, whatever side you want to take first. What would be the number one key for either the Rams or the Bengals to have the most success and the best chance at winning on Sunday?
I would actually. I mean, this is why I'm kind of leaning more towards the Rams here. It's because of that familiarity. I think the team that, in my opinion, gets off to a little bit of a quicker start is the team that will have the most overall success in the Super Bowl. I kind of like wrote an article about it like this week here. I'm taking a look at the past kind of 10 Super Bowls. Historically, first quarter points average out to kind of be like around 8.1 points per game. There's been some clinkers. There's been some games with some high kind of scoring in them, but historically, first quarters in Super Bowls, big game, nerves, surroundings, atmosphere, all that stuff kind of plays into, hey, you know what, maybe teams taking or needing a couple of series to get their sea legs, underneath them. So I actually think that the team that has the most success in the first quarter is going to be the overall winner in this game, and that's why I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards the Rams. I think they have a better opportunity to go ahead and do something like that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Trev, do you agree with that, or do you have a different key to starting the game or anything like that?
I've got two more keys to add to Mark's one key. I think one key is defensive line to see who's going to win in the trenches down there. If they can, I know Joe Burrow's been sacked 9 times before by the Titans, but that's the Titans. This is a different defensive line with the Rams. I don't know if he can get back up so easily after Aaron Donald touches them, but that, and then also the wide receiver DB matchup for both teams. If Jamar Chase is shut down, who's going to step up for the Bengals? If Cooper Kupp is shut down, who's going to step up for the Rams? Is it OBJ? Is it Tyler Boyd? So I think that's going to be huge too, to see which defensive back group can lock down the other team's number one wide receiver to make them win the game some other way. So
yeah. So I want to go back to Mark's point, because it's interesting, because I was kind of thinking of the other day, and I didn't bring it up on a show. Like if I was the Rams and if I had first offense, or if I was the Bengals and I was first on offense, how I would play it, and the sense of urgency versus the youth of the Bengals. If the Bengals get the ball first, I want to see the Bengals come out, first play action, and try to go deep right away and just make that statement, with a deep bomb to Jamar Chase. But if I'm the Rams and I get the ball first, I want to methodically go down the field and keep the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands. So
good point.
Who gets the ball first and how their game plan to start the game, I think plays a huge factor. If the Bengals come out and throw a 70-yard bomb to Jamar Chase, score a touchdown on the opening drive, that just sets the tone for the game. But on the other side, if the Rams come out and just make an 8 or 9 minute opening drive, methodically march down the field, keep the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands, all of a sudden you go from 65, 70 plays with Joe Burrow to 55 plays with Joe Burrow. Gives yourself a much better chance to win the game. Trev, what do you think of that?
I mean, yes and no, because we saw that 2 weeks ago. We saw the Chiefs come out three straight possessions, 21-3, fast, and they end up losing that game. So I don't know if that the same philosophy can happen for the Super Bowl, but I do agree with you, Phil. I think that if I'm the Rams, I get the ball first. Yeah, I'm keeping Joe Burrow as cold and as less warmed up as possible and methodically going down, sustaining an 8-minute, 9-minute drive. Exactly. I'm doing that too. But if I am Joe Burrow, yeah, I'm coming out showing that, hey, I'm not too young for this game. Like, I've been in a championship game before. We're going deep. I got Jamar Chase. I got Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins. So I agree with you, Phil.
Yeah, I just kind of think of if you keep him on the sideline, especially at the start of the game. Look, everybody says he's Joe Cool. He's got ice in his veins, whatever you want to say about him. But it's the Super Bowl. This I know he played a national championship game in college. This is a step up. There's a
little bit different.
A lot more people watching this game.
Exactly.
And you got him he's all warmed up and he's stuck on that bench. He's going to start getting jittery. He's going to start feeling a little nervous. He's going to start to feel a little anxiety there. And then he comes out. Maybe he makes a mistake on his first drive. All of a sudden, the Rams are up 10, 14-0. All of a sudden, that changes the whole game plan and whole philosophy of this game. Mark?
No, I kind of agree here. I think, besides from all that stuff here, overall, what's going to be really important for both teams here is don't go 3 and out on your first drive.
Yeah.
That's kind of going to be important. I actually think it's detrimental to a team like the Bengals should they get the ball first to kind of go 3 and out. That's a little bit of a concern for me. But I would have just as much of a concern if I was the Rams. I think Stafford is a question mark in this game. It's a veteran, but he's got some warts on him. There's definitely some warts on the beauty queen over here. So that's the one thing that I'd actually be looking at to start the game. But I think you hit the nail right on the head here. Bengals perspective, score as quickly as you possibly can, set the tone, basically show the other or your opposition that you're not too big for the moment. And if you're the Rams, I think that's a gut punch. You go You go on a 7, 8, 9, minute drive first quarter and stick the ball kind of in the end zone. That's a tremendous amount of pressure that's being flipped over to the other side, and
For sure.
it's going to be hard for them to go from there.
Hey, my man Carter Hart saying, what's the over-under on the amount of times Joe Burrow gets sacked? I don't know if you guys have looked at this or not, but the over-under is only set at 3.5 sacks for the Rams.
Makes sense.
I mean, Joe Burrow gets sacked a lot. I mean, he was sacked 9 times a couple weeks ago. The fact that it's only set at 3.5 with the Rams front four and how good they are, I'm actually kind of surprised it's that low. I mean, I'm not going to.
At least 5. It should have
I would say
5.
4.5 or 5.5 would be where the over/under should be. But man, 3.5 to answer that question, Carter. That's very interesting there. All right, let's see if AB has been able to get in here on the I Have No Sponsor hotline. AB, can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you now.
All right.
Yeah.
So we got AB, host of the Open Gym podcast, writer for Philadelphia Sports Network. Finally, some Eagles blood with me with this Giants fan and Commanders fan here. So I don't know. I know you've been trying to get everything set here, but we've been talking about the sense of urgency for the Rams, the youthfulness of the Bengals, and how to start this game. So where are you on this game, as a whole in general, AB?
Yeah, so I did hear that it was a Super Bowl coming up this weekend, so let's dive into that. Yeah, the matchup, I feel like it's going to be a good one overall. I've been riding with Joe Burrow all year since the beginning. They have a really good opportunity of winning this game this weekend. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Odell, so like my heart is like with him, like wanting him to finally get that championship, that win. But I would not be surprised whatsoever if the Bengals will win this game because they're like that Cinderella story this year. Their second half adjustments all playoffs were just astounding. Every game it might have started off one way and you thinking it's just going to be over, but then after halftime, Joey B just starts dialing it up, and the defense is be clicking and stopping people. And you would think offense, as you would think, like Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, offense like that, and for them to take a second half like that and just literally just stop them from doing anything whatsoever, essentially like that, and like that's a testament in itself. And I know people would say they don't have the biggest names on the defensive end, but them guys play, they fly around, they're young, and it's something to that when you're young. Sometimes when you're young, you just don't know no better. You just go out there and play. It's like you don't have any pressure on you or anything like that. So definitely it's going to be a good game. I think it will be closer than what people think. The Bengals will hang in there, and like I said, I'm just more so rooting for the Odell aspect of it. But I would not be surprised whatsoever if the Cincinnati Bengals win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. So it's actually interesting that he brings up Odell, because we talk about the Bengals defense, and they got a good defense. It's not a great defense. I think it ranked 18th overall, 17th overall this season. But the fact that they have to stop Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham, so you're basically going to have Eli Apple covering Odell Beckham, and that doesn't that doesn't count who's going to cover Van Jefferson or Tyler Higbee or anybody else on that defense. Can the Bengals defense, because that's what I'm looking at. Like I think the Rams defense can at least slow down Joe Burrows at times. Can the Bengals defense slow down Matthew Stafford at all? Trev, I already see your look on your face, Trev. You're like, I don't know. And that's my sticking point right now. Is can they slow him down? So can they slow down the Rams offense?
I don't think they can. I know they did a great job against Kansas City, but Kansas City, that was kind of their MO all year. They were up and down. Teams were causing Pat Mahomes a struggle. Pat Mahomes was not really Pat Mahomes that we've known this year. So I don't think that the Bengals defense can stop Cooper Kupp. He's just his route running is ridiculous. He doesn't drop anything. Then if you focus on him, you got OBJ, who's showing he's OBJ of Marc's hometown back before Cleveland days. He's showing that. I mean, he's like 4 touchdowns in the last 5 games, something like that. Then you got Van Jefferson, who's come on. The tight end, the last string tight end, he's a little bit of a threat. Sonny Michel's a pass catching back. So I just don't think the Bengals have what it takes to stop any of these pass catchers in this high powered Rams offense. Because once they get going, they can put up 40 on you real quick. They can. They really can.
So, Mark, I actually got it. It's actually more Odell Beckham talk. So my man Jason that I host my golf podcast with, he lives in Detroit. Okay.
Mhm.
He's a huge Matthew Stafford fan. And he's been saying all season long he wanted Matthew Stafford to get that ring because he has a special place in his heart with Matthew Stafford. You being a Giants fan, but Odell kind of had like a different relationship in New York than Matthew Stafford did in Detroit. Are you rooting for Odell Beckham like AB is and people are rooting for Matthew Stafford? Do you want to see Odell Beckham get that ring? Does he deserve that chance to finally have a title?
It's a love-hate relationship with Odell. I wouldn't say that I'm rooting for him. I'm not necessarily rooting against him. If I want the Rams to win because I'm betting on the Rams, not because I have any type of allegiance to an individual player or quarterback. But kind of like you, I actually do a show every Friday called Making Picks on the State Games Connect YouTube channel as well. And my co-host is a big Detroit Lions fan as well, and he's the biggest Matthew Stafford fanboy in the world, and it kind of makes me sick. It's almost like you have. Your girlfriend broke up with you and is now taking your best friend to the prom here, and now you're kind of rooting for your buddy to, basically hook up with the crush that you've had for the past 12 years. I mean, it's cute. I can sympathize with the situation over here. It's just a little weird. That's kind of like the way that I kind of look at it from a whole OBJ perspective.
I kind of figured that way because the relationship with Odell is different than Matthew Stafford. For sure, absolutely. All right. So, I mean, we got people saying, it's all around BJ Hill and DJ Reader, getting pressure up the middle. That's absolutely correct. And I want to bring up an X factor, and I think it is. And I know George has brought it up a few times as, he's one of the guys that comment on the show all the time. And that's Joe Mixon and the running game. And he actually thinks that the running game of the Bengals is actually the key because you can run outside the tackles against the Rams. And that keeps Matthew Stafford off the field. But if you could establish the run game early on, kind of opens things up for the pass game. It's the same thing with the Eagles, never running the ball earlier in the year. They start running the ball later in the year. All of a sudden, the passing game opens up. But also, I bet you guys don't realize, well, maybe you guys do because you're all really smart guys. I didn't realize Joe Mixon almost had 50 catches out of the backfield this year. Counting the playoffs, he's almost 50 catches. So Joe Mixon's actually a weapon out of the backfield in the passing game. So there's short dump passes to Joe Mixon, screen plays, and running outside the tackles with Joe Mixon. AB, I could start with you. Do you think Joe Mixon is as key of this game as I actually think he could be?
He can be. Like you said, the running on the outside of the Rams definitely has been their weakest point when it comes to their defensive line. Now, is the Bengals offensive line prepared to handle someone like Aaron Donald? And that's been their Achilles heel all year, essentially. I mean, you've seen in the playoffs before the Chiefs, he got sacked 8 or 9 times by itself. I mean, they still won, but you clearly see that the offensive line struggled once they came up against a better defensive line. So Joe Mixon out of the backfield running the ball. I've been saying that all year through the playoffs. Definitely, if the Bengals could establish any sense of a running game, it doesn't have to be 100+ yards every time. Like I said, if you just give that threat of being able to run, and then also, like you said, 50 catches throughout the year. I didn't know about that stat, so that definitely was interesting, especially knowing Joe Mixon wasn't highly touted as the best pass catchers. So definitely, if they can establish the run game, would do well because then it opens up the vertical threat that they like to do with the T. Higgins, with the Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd. So yeah, if they could do that for sure, but I'm not sure if the offensive line is ready for someone like an Aaron Donald. I mean, we will see though. They surprised me this far, and so I'm gonna keep on watching to see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark, thoughts on? I mean, you do the statement game stuff. Joe Mixon on a Bengals game would be in there a lot. Did you even realize that Joe Mixon was so much of a focal point? Like he's quietly got almost 1,600 all-purpose yards in the regular season between running and passing, and I was surprised when I read that. So I mean, I keep leaning towards it. It's going to be Joe Mixon, not Joe Burrow, that sets the pace, and then opens it up for Joe Burrow later on down the game.
No, he's an integral part of the offense. It makes a complete lot of sense here to get him involved in that offensive scheme as early as you possibly can here. I think the obvious thing is to be taking a look at ways to stop Higgins as well as Jamar and things like that here. Those are the obvious choices here, and I think guys like Joe Mixon, especially in the Super Bowl here, you always have these under the radar guys who turn out to be the heroes, of the game here. And I think he's a perfect candidate. I actually think that if you're leaning a little bit more towards Cincinnati, guys like that are a good little wager to throw on from a possible Super Bowl MVP perspective.
Trev?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a factor. If they don't get him going, it's going to be a long day for Joe Burrow. I agree with AB. The offensive line's been shaky all year, but now they're going up against Aaron Donald, who is just a whole other monster in himself. So if they can handle that defensive line, then they should have a good day on the ground. But like you said, AB, just get it going. Doesn't have to be successful. Doesn't have to be a 7-8 yard run every time, but just show the threat that, hey, we can run the ball if we have to, if we need to. But then that'll open up the passing game and let Joe Burrow be Joe Burrow.
Yeah. So one thing that normally plays a factor into a Super Bowl, but I really don't see it being a factor this week or this year, is the coaching factor. Because Sean McVay, I mean, obviously played in the Super Bowl or coached in the Super Bowl a few years ago. One of the worst Super Bowls of all time, most boring Super Bowls of all time a few years ago. And he's got pressure on him. He's this young guy. And Zach Taylor, I mean, you don't see the pressure affecting Zach Taylor, at least this playoff run so far.
Right.
Is there anywhere that the coaching, experience of Sean McVay versus the inexperience of Zach Taylor plays a factor? Because I'm right. I've written it off to this point, but maybe I'm wrong to be writing that off when I'm making my predictions here.
No.
Go ahead, AB.
Yeah, so like I said, that's a good question, and I got mixed reviews for each coach essentially, because even someone like a Sean McVay, like I said, he's been here, he's been to a Super Bowl before, but even in these playoffs alone, you've seen some more questionable things this year than not, especially since they got the new toy in Matthew Stafford. He likes to throw the ball a lot, a whole lot, to the point where it was even detrimental. And we all know Matthew Stafford, he'll give you a couple because he likes to throw that ball. So I mean, it's going to be try to find a happy medium, because I do believe, I know numbers probably wouldn't attest to this, but the Bengals defense, for some reason within this playoffs, once they find out what they need to do or how they need to stop you, they adjust. It's just what the story was when it came to these playoffs. So if they want to throw the ball 35 to 40 times, I don't think that might bode well for the Rams in the long run, the way the Bengals been playing so far. And then with Zach Taylor, I feel like the team is taking on his mantra. It's just like, what do we have to lose? We wasn't supposed to be here. All the pressures on their side, So he's coached how he's wanted to coach all year long. People might not see it as much because they're the Bengals, but they never wavered away from what they have done all year and got them to the Super Bowl. So I wouldn't. It surprised me how calm they are, but I mean, that's where they say the quarterback is an extension of the coach. So if Joe Burrow is calm and pressure in these big games like this, I expect Zach Taylor as well to be the same way, even going into the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Mark, I mean, I know the Giants coaches were really great this past year on making adjustments in game, right? and I won't lie. AB, you hit it on the head. I was hoping that's where one of you would go with it. The Bengals coaching, for as young as it is, they have no fear about making adjustments and getting away from what they planned all week long, and I love it. So, Mark, someone that, just like the Eagles, have won it, adjustments made all year long, and adjustments were never made. It's pretty damn important and pretty impressive that this young coaching staff is doing it so well.
I mean, look, both coaches have done a pretty good job this year. If I had to lean one way or another, obviously you're going to lean a little bit more towards McVay. But when I'm kind of sitting down, analyzing this game, breaking down possible bets that I'm going to be making here, I don't see the coaching on either team kind of swaying what direction I'm going to I'm going to go in here. Overall, when I'm kind of looking at my picks and what I'm going to be doing leading up to Sunday here, I just completely feel that the Rams are a better team. I don't feel that it's going to be a scheme that Zach Taylor comes up with that stops the Los Angeles Rams. I don't think, what's the defensive coordinator's name? Is it Lou Anarimo or something like that on Cincinnati or something? So I don't think he's going to be doing kind of thing. It's not going to be Eli Apple or any kind of other corners that Cincinnati has. The only person that can actually stop the Los Angeles Rams is going to be Matthew Stafford, as a I could have pounded up before here. He has a tendency of making some beautiful, picturesque kind of throws, and then he has throws that make you kind of scratch your head. And if he puts up the ball, more than 30, 35 times in this game here, that's not necessarily a good sign for the Rams here. So I think everything about this game, not about the coaching staff, it comes down to Matthew Stafford.
Trev, can you ever even actually imagine, Trev, a Super Bowl where coaching didn't we're all in agreement. Coaching is like such a minor aspect of this game almost. I don't remember ever having a pre-Super Bowl conversation and saying the coaching's not going to play that big of a factor.
I think it is. I think we kind of saw that in the playoffs. I think the Rams' last game, you saw Sean McVay kind of panic when he used both challenges within 5-10 minutes of each other. So you kind of see that when Sean McVay, things aren't going his way, he kind of freaks out and wants to throw a challenge flag when he probably doesn't need to, because it's kind of clear on hey, this was this call, don't throw it, but he throws it anyway. So if it does come down to coaching, I think it'll come down to that, whether Sean McVay panics like he normally does when something doesn't go right in his fourth quarter, or if he remains cool, calm, and collected, and just turns over to Matthew Stafford, and like Mark says, let Matthew Stafford decide the game instead of Sean McVay. But other than that, that's about it for coaching.
Not to dig at the Giants, but Mark, Eli Apple.
This has been at the tip of your tongue for 32
you guys know all
now.
about Eli Apple there in New York. How's Eli Apple going to cover Odell Beckham?
Apple or Cup. I've definitely seen him, get burned a couple of different times here. That's actually one of the main reasons why one of those lines, I think it's 39.5 longest pass completion by Stafford. So I got the over on that one. Is the one of the ones that I'm playing specifically because of Eli.
Let's talk. Look, we're all we all love gambling and betting, and the Super Bowl is the biggest. We all love fantasy stuff, obviously too. But the Super Bowl is not about fantasy football anymore. There are single game showdowns and stuff like that. And the statement games is actually the best part of. Your website's probably a lot more fun than DraftKings for the fantasy side of things.
Thanksgiving Day, and hey, look, I really appreciate being compared to some of the bigger kind of boys, but Thanksgiving Day and Super Bowl, I am going to raise my hand and say that I will smoke those guys on every single Sunday.
Absolutely.
So
Let's go.
The Super Bowl is all about betting, guys. So before we get into the game line itself and making predictions and stuff like that, I want to talk about your guys. Like me, I'm a baby better. I bet tiny.
Me too.
There. I don't bet big. But on Super Bowl Sunday, what's that? You bet 10,000 a game, maybe?
No, I was saying you said you're a small better. I said, turn 20,000. That's what I'm going with.
So guys, first off, we'll start Trev, then we'll go down to Mark and AB. What are some of your favorite types of bets that you look at on Super Bowl Sunday? Are you going after the national anthem length? Are you sticking to just the game itself? Are you spreading your money all over the game?
Well, this year I might spread my money all over the game and dabble into some national anthem stuff or, commercial stuff or stuff like that, non-football stuff. But I'm a parlay guy. I like to group a bunch of stuff in the parlay and bet like $1, $2, $5 max and try to win like $3,000, something like that. I don't bet $10 because the world is real out here, so I bet small.
Mark, do you have any favorite types of bets to focus in on Super Bowl prop wise?
You know what? Obviously, Trev is a sucker. That's what I kind of call sucker bets. So I try to stay away. I'm staying away from the Gatorade stuff. I stay away from the national anthem stuff. But one thing that I am a personal sucker for, though, and I always say that every single year, I'm like, I'm not doing it. I hate it. And then I always get roped in. I'm a sucker. I buy those stupid Super Bowl boxes all the time.
Okay, the Super Bowl squares, yeah.
I got some things that if you want to get into that.
Yeah, we're going to get into that in a second. AP, are there any sucker bets that you get, roped into? Me, I get suckered into every year the coin toss. I coin toss every
Yeah.
single year. I don't know why, but I do.
I was literally about to say that because like I'm not into like the color of the Gatorade, nothing like that. That's like I like my money, so I'm not just gonna just throw it away. So the little things like coin toss, stuff like that, yeah. But I like Trev said, I'm a big like parlay guy. If I got any winnings, I let you know how good I'm feeling. So I go big. I go a little $10, a little $15 on top of it for sure. Some parlays, that's what I do. That's what I go with. That's I love that. Like to spread it around all over the place. So I'll be all over the Super Bowl for sure.
What is the length of the over/under on the national anthem? I have no idea.
95 seconds.
95 seconds.
You are prepared. I love it. I love when it gets
This is what I do. I'm setting lines, Lowell.
95 seconds. So is that pretty average, or I don't even know who's singing the national anthem this year.
Mickey Guyton, former country star singer. So and they like to drag out country songs. So it's probably like 95.
I have to talk about his dog that died, and his wife that left him, and his cat, and everything else that's struck in the national anthem. So
exactly.
So maybe we're taking So Freddie Depot, you're take the over in the national anthem with a country singer going.
That's always the debate. Like, when does the national anthem actually start? Is it from the the word "oh," or is it from like the start of when the music kind of starts? So you gotta be careful on what the rules are when you're kind of like making picks like that. Because if it's just say all right, the start clock's here, but if there's a couple of seconds of music kind of playing before you get to that part here, that's what you need to clarify.
Absolutely. Yeah, my man KC saying take a $1 bet on a 7-leg minimum parlay as the way to go. And Mark, I'm not trying to promote another company because obviously you're my man. I love Statement Game, but DraftKings this weekend. I mean, obviously they're doing their same game parlay.
Look, we went legal about a couple of weeks ago. I got all of them. I got MGM, I got FanDuel, I got DraftKings.
They're
offering games, obviously, but
they're offering a same game parlay. Free bet up to $10 for everybody. They'll refund you. So do you take, as a gambling guys, would you rather take your $10 guaranteed, even if you lose, they'll refund you your $10 and put that on a big 7, 8, 9 leg parlay that can win really big, or take that and make it your safe bet and then do a $1, huge thing? Where if you have a $10 free bet, are you going with the high payout or the lower payout? Trev, you're shaking your head.
Free is free, bro. If they're gonna give me my $10 back, I'm putting that. Yeah, for sure.
Hey, what are you doing with the free bet?
I mean, I'll play with that for sure. It's not my money.
Would you rather that free bet turn that $10 free bet into $30, or are you taking that $10 bet and taking a chance at a $10,000 payday or something like that?
Nah. $10, $30 bet for me, AB. Let me cut you off.
What does the promotion say that again? It's a $10.
If you do a same game parlay,
okay,
up to $10, win or lose, no matter how many legs of it win or lose, you get your $10 back.
Okay.
So it's basically a $10 free bet.
So basically, am I doing a 2-leg parlay or a 7 or a 10-leg parlay with the $10?
With the free bet. Yeah, Mark, what do you think?
Yeah.
That's kind of like a good question. I guess, you're getting the money back either way, right?
Yeah, you're getting the money back either way.
I'm throwing it in there.
I'm not sure if I do a 10, but I'm going to do something a little bit more aggressive than a 2.
Yeah, all right. AB, are you taking the bigger risk with the free bet?
I mean, it's not mine. Listen, I throw that in there. Let's try to win this thing. Put the best parlay I can together to get that for sure. And see,
I'm sure you guys saw the parlay, the $20 free bet on FanDuel a few weeks ago. The guy put a few games exactly right, and it was $20 to $500,000 payout.
Makes me sick, man.
Yeah, guys like that make me want to puke.
Yeah, all the time.
Right?
That's actually
it's probably the people who don't watch sports.
right.
They watch Sports Center and watch the highlights and just go with it.
On that is actually my favorite bet to make. I've never hit it before, but I'll bet it again this year. And I'm trying to find my prediction where it even falls on the odds. I'll have to there's so many different things. I love, and I know it's the slimmest of margins to hit it, the guessing the score exactly correct. If you think it's going to be 31-28, the odds of picking a score exactly correct, I mean, you're getting 200 to 1 on your money. I know it's just donkeying, throwing money out the window, but all you got to do is hit that once in your lifetime, and you've paid for the rest of your lifetime, of making bets and all. I love
You're
the
right.
exact score bet right there. That's always one of my favorite, prop bets right there. Do you guys have, are you guys? So we can start with any of you want to go here. Are you focusing in on when you're doing your same game parlays for the Super Bowl? Are you going to be focusing in this week on anything specifically? You're going to be focused in on the Rams offense, like Burrow in the under, or Cup in the over, and stuff like that. Where are you guys going to be focusing in on? Based off of your thoughts on how the game's going to play out.
I'm gonna look for anytime touchdown scores,
Okay.
passing yards by each quarterback, and defensive or special teams touchdown as well. That's what I'm gonna focus on.
Okay.
And for
Mark?
me,
AB, go ahead.
for me, I'm more so leaning a little bit to the Bengals side of things as far as player props, essentially, specific players. Because like I said, I do feel like this game is going to be more of a shootout, essentially. So I definitely player props in certain players. Anytime touchdowns, definitely that's always a big play in my parlays for sure. Anytime touchdowns. So yeah, player props and anytime touchdowns, and obviously quarterback passing yards, things like that. Definitely what I go with, and even I'll mess with the spread a little bit as well.
Yeah. Mark, are you on the same boat there? I'm looking at the anytime touchdown scores. I'm surprised. There's 3 guys that are at minus money for anytime scores. I don't normally see that many guys. You got Cup, Mixon, and Akers are all minus 110,
Wow,
minus 105, and minus
Akers.
190 as anytime touchdown scores. That's pretty crazy that many guys are negative money on anytime touchdown score.
Yeah, I guess kind of like for me here, there's not really one specific thing that I'm looking for. I'm more of a type of a person where I like to take what the defense gives me, so to speak. So anytime I feel like I'm getting like a little bit of a competitive advantage, that's kind of like when I take a look at here. When the Super Bowl line came out here, I thought honestly, I thought this was like a 5.5, 6 point game. The fact that you can actually get it at, the fact that you can get it at either 4 or 4.5, makes me lean a little bit more towards the Rams. Kind of alluded to it before here, past kind of 10 years. Average first quarter points hovering like around 8 on some of the books that I've actually seen here. You could potentially get it at 10.5. So I like the under 10.5 first quarter points. Some of the defensive props with lines that came out here. I take a look at guys like Von Miller. Von Miller this entire season only recorded 6 combined tackles twice all year. So when you kind of like taking a look at that line of Von Miller over or under 5 combined tackles, I like the under. I like the under there. And, just to give myself like a little bit of insurance on my Rams pick here, I actually bought 2 Joe Burrow rookie cards that were actually graded. So that's how I'm playing the Super Bowl.
I love that. That's fantastic. I love
That's
it.
dope.
All right.
That's dope.
All right. So let's
if they win, and if they do win, I think he's got a good shot at being named the MVP. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I think 7 of the last 10 Super Bowls, the MVP award has gone to a quarterback for the winning team here. So I think these things could pop in the event that
you might make some extra money.
Once in a blue moon, I'm wrong. It's not often, but it does happen.
All right, let's get into it then. All right, so we'll go around the board here. AB, you can go first. Game script. How's the game going to play out, and what's your prediction for the Super Bowl here?
So, like I said, I do agree with what we said earlier as far as the Bengals establishing some type of running game. If they can get Joe Mixon involved, it would definitely get the defensive line of the Los Angeles Rams to ease up, back off, can't pin their ears back enough all the time on them. If they can get that involved and protect Joe Burrow a bit, I feel like they're going to be in this game more than what people think. I know it's a narrative that the Rams are just going to come into this thing. They're home. They're at their own stadium, so it's like a home game to them, things of that nature, that they're just going to come over there and just mop the floor with them. So if they can develop some type of running game, I believe they'll stay in it. But I do believe towards the end they just pull away, because I do believe the offensive line of the Bengals just won't be able to withstand someone like Aaron Donald, who in the past hasn't shown up in big games, but this particular playoffs this year has really shown why he has been called the best defensive lineman within the NFL. So I just feel like at the end, just the talent just rises to the top. Marc had said it earlier: Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham, Aaron Donald, Von Miller, those guys are Jalen Ramsey as well. You got to remember he's on the other side as well. So definitely by the end, I got this at a high score. It's going to be in the 30s. I'm thinking around 30, 34, 31 Rams. That's where I'm going when it comes to the Super Bowl. It's definitely going to be a high score.
All right, Mark, you're on the board here. I already know you're leaning Rams.
The way I kind of see the whole game plan, I'm looking for a slow start in the first quarter. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking for the game to kind of be fairly tight, almost like halfway through the third quarter. Mm-hmm. Then I'm seeing like the Rams getting up by 2 scores. Burrow kind of like making a little bit of a mistake, and either something like weird happened, like a pick six, or the Rams kind of like running a sweep with Odell stopping at a dime and then hitting kind of Cooper Kupp across the middle on some kind of like trick play, kind of like touchdown. So I'm looking for things like that happen. Final score something like 31-17 Rams.
Yeah. I like that prediction there. I mean, you're going pretty similar to me there, but Trev, what are you at?
Yeah, I think it's going to be close all the way up until halftime. I think there'll be a couple splash plays in the first half. Might be a little bit sloppy because the Rams, they like to give the ball away a lot. We saw that against Tampa Bay, so I think that might happen first half. But I do think second half, with all the leadership and the veterans and Sean McVay's been there, the Rams just pull away and they win by 2 more scores. I got 38-21 Rams.
Blowout. That's a blowout.
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
Giving the Bengals no shot. I see.
it's close first half, and then the Rams just.
I know you got a sneaky feeling. Those the late bloomer teams that just go on that run. That's what I'm feeling.
I almost feel like I have to change my prediction now because everybody, even my morning show co-host, he got called into work early today. Jason Voorhees, he gave me his prediction yesterday: 34-27 Rams. So that would mean Jason's are on the Rams, Aaron's on the Rams, Marc's on the Rams, Trev's on the Rams. I was gonna go the Rams. But I got to be like, who's the girl? Who's the guy? Was it Boomer that used to be, you're all on the Rams. So I got to go on the Bengals side. No, I got to say, I like Marc said, I think, the Rams, I think it's a slow start too. I'm hoping the Rams get the first ball. Or even if the Bengals do, they go 3 and out. A nice long methodical drive, 7-0 at the end of the first quarter Rams. And I see it 10-0, 14-3, something like that going in the half Rams. And I think the Rams are up pretty big going into the fourth quarter, and that Joe Burrow has to have some magic. He gets it close. But maybe that experience on that defense. Aaron Donald comes up with a strip sack. Jalen Ramsey, six, something like that on that last 2-minute drive of the Bengals. I got it lower scoring than you guys do. I got it 27-20 Rams. So I got it on. I got it covering, but I got it going under because right now the over/under is at 48.5.
Yeah.
I believe as of this morning,
Yeah.
48. Yeah. So I got it lower scoring. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 27-20 is like my prediction, but 27-24, somewhere in that lower scoring range is where it is for me. George checking in saying he's got the Bengals going it. Yeah. I mean, okay. I again, if it's 27-20, there's no reason why instead of that interception or strip fumble or whatever it is that Joe Burrow doesn't throw a touchdown, tie it up and take it to overtime. It's very possible it could go either way for me. That's why I'm more looking at alternate lines and alternate spreads and stuff like that because I'm not confident that it could go one way or the other.
I tell you this much: when it comes to betting, don't get me wrong. I'm be betting on both sides of this thing. I'm gonna win some money.
Yeah, same. I'm looking at a parlay going for the Bengals and a parlay going for the Rams. I'm winning something out of the Super Bowl. Damn it.
Like I said, I
but you broke even. Doesn't matter. I cashed some tickets.
That's all we all want to do is cash tickets this weekend. Absolutely. All right, let's have some fun. I want to get some fun things out of you guys here before we get off the air here. First off, Super Bowl Sunday. I mean, we're all podcasters. We're all in the sports talk, business here. So we're going to be paying attention to the game. But Super Bowl Sunday is all about the party too. What's your number one food for Super Bowl Sunday, Marc?
I mean, that's a tough choice. You got to go with. It's got to be well done. It's got to be well done wings. So I understand that there's a supply chain issue and wings are hard to get and the more expensive.
I know.
I don't give a shit. I want wings on Super Bowl Sunday.
So what you're saying? So because I mean,
I don't want ribs. Burgers are nice and things like that. I want
I know Mark. I know Mark knows I have a pizza shop. I own a pizza
Yeah.
shop. You guys don't know this, Trev and AB.
Yeah.
And I just had to raise my wing prices again because of the supply shortage and because of the fact that the ones I am getting in are so expensive. Mark, are you? Because I'm concerned that I'm not going to sell as many wings this year as normal because the price is so high.
Yeah.
Are you not on Super Bowl Sunday? You don't care about the price, right? It's wings
No.
on Super Bowl, right?
It's a holiday. It's it's
Yeah.
one of those days, and we're thinking about it. You have an opportunity to watch a game, drink all day, bet, and stuff your
Promote
face,
the shop right
and
here
not
on
be
the air.
judged as a
Hey.
degenerate. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
kind of perfect. So yeah, I mean, hey, you know what? I gotta kind of be honest. Pizza's kind of good stuff, but from your neck of the woods here, you can't beat a good slice of tomato pie from in the Philadelphia area as almost like a pre-appetizer. Because the game doesn't start till like 6:30. So I'm thinking like around
It's
12.
really weird. Most of my pre-placed orders for the Super Bowl always come in for people that want delivery at 4:15. I'm like, Trev, what's your go-to food on Super Bowl Sunday?
You got to have a good dip, man. I'm
Here you go.
a dip, spin dip, buffalo chicken dip. I don't care what
Taco
kind of
dip?
taco dip, any kind of dip, man. So you can eat it when it's hot. You can eat it when it's cold. You can eat it, like you said, 12 o'clock with your tomato pie pregame. Then you can have it with your chicken wings at dinner. Like, it's got to be a dip, and it's just got to be a good dip. So.
Absolutely. AB?
I mean, he took it right. That's what it is, the dip and wings. I mean, what else is it? Like, it's football. What are you eating on watching football? Seriously. Don't give me all those other things that you can eat, but it's nothing like walking past and just seeing a wing and be able to just pick it up and just go right there.
There you go.
I won't lie. I find wings the most overrated picking food of all time. You're sitting there, you're checking Twitter,
You're crazy.
checking your bets, and you're eating a wing. How am I going to pick up my cell phone after I just had a sloppy hot wing in my hand?
Like this. This is you do. You use the other one.
Grab somebody else. Hey, make this bet for me real quick. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. That was funny. So one other thing, I talked about it earlier this week, and I'd love to get your guys' opinion. Halftime show this year. I mean, I'm thrilled with it. I don't know if that's a good thing from Trev or a bad thing from Trev.
Trust me, it's a good thing.
I
half and half.
love this year's halftime show. It's bringing me back to my childhood. Okay, I think it could crack my top 3 all-time halftime show list. Okay, which is totally different than this year's. My number 3 halftime show of all time was Prince, 2007. Number 2, Bruno Mars, 2014. I'm not even a Bruno Mars fan, but I just thought
that guy is entertaining, man. He can move. I was
entertainer beyond belief.
Yeah.
Number 1, I'm a big Bruce Springsteen fan. 2009, Bruce Springsteen, the E Street Band. But I think this year's can crack that top 3. So Trev, since you made the head nod first, what are your thoughts on this year's Super Bowl halftime show, and what is your favorite halftime show that you remember?
All right. So this year, Mary J. Blige, really? I mean, no shade to Mary J,
I'm
but what the hell? That was like Mary J. Blige. That's what I just feel like.
They needed a girl there,
Snoop Dogg. I mean, how much? What does it? Does he have to perform anymore? Really? We already know what he does. We know what he's about. I would rather him commentate the halftime show than actually perform on stage. That would be good. Dr. Dre is good because he's been out of the game for a while. So I like to see how he's going to work with all these artists. Kendrick Lamar is good. Same thing. He's been quiet for a while. To see him perform, it's kind of good. Eminem, like we've already know what he can rap fast. He's really good. He's almost 50. Like, what is he going to rap that's different? Yeah, he's 49. Yeah, like
wow.
Mary J. and Eminem could have like been replaced by Adele and like maybe a country music star and have like a diverse with Dr. Dre over Adele. That would have been dope. But Mary J. But my top, I'm going to be a little, I don't know, obvious, but I'm going to say Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson is probably my favorite halftime show.
All right.
For obvious reasons.
Trev's the first person to
obvious reasons.
Trev's younger than all of us. So
yeah, dude, I'm young.
This Super Bowl halftime show is all about nostalgia for me. My high school years of Snoop and Dre, being relived on stage. That's why I'm excited. And I love Eminem. He's one of my goats of the hip hop world. So AB, this halftime show and your favorite halftime show.
Yeah, so this halftime show, I sound kind of the same way, especially with the Eminem aspect. I wasn't the biggest Eminem fan in general, so it was just like, okay, raps, like you said, raps fast. Yeah, okay, cool. But Dr. Dre, I mean, I'm all for that. Just to hear those older songs. Like, so I'm very curious as to what he actually brings out there, what music he plays. Like, listen, if I hear some of the songs that I think he's gonna play, I'm gonna be freaking out essentially like that. And I'm a little bit biased as well because I have some OGs, some people I look up to in the music world who does the actual the music director for the halftime show for the last 5 years.
Nice.
So so I'm a little biased as that because I love to see the arrangements that they do for the halftime show, and the music in general would be great. So definitely Dr. Dre, Kendrick Lamar is one of my favorite rappers ever. Him, like J. Cole, stuff like that. So and he's been gone for a while. So definitely glad to see him come back and then to be on the Super Bowl at that. Mary J, I mean, Trev might not like her, but I mean, let's get it coming.
I mean, yeah, but like, really though, the Super Bowl. You're right. Bring Lauryn Hill up there instead. Don't bring Mary up there.
I'll be for that as well, though, for sure. I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised with that lineup. So other than Eminem, I'm very looking forward when it comes to that. And then just one of my favorites, obviously one Prince for sure, and then the other Beyonce. The musical production in general that she put on, the whole totality of it it blew my mind essentially. So definitely those are probably my tops that I jumped to as soon as I still watch that to this day. Like go on YouTube and turn that on and just rewatch that. So yeah, that's definitely two of my favorites.
All right, Mark, you're on the spot now. You had some time to think about it here.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm a little concerned though. It's a lot of talent, so I'm just kind of curious to see how they're going to work all those individuals and people in. I mean, this is not a 2-hour concert. If it was that, I was like, all right, I'd be kind of like pumped. I kind of got a feeling that someone is going to get my juices kind of like flowing, and then I'm going to be pissed that it cut away from that individual to go to like somebody else. That's kind of like my fear with that, but I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what happens. In terms of my favorite kind of halftime show, I mean, look, there's like a lot of good ones here, but I'll tell you what, I can watch that Shakira jump around and dance around all freaking day. I don't care if it's a halftime show, a YouTube video, whatever. So my favorite, hands down, Shakira and Jennifer Lopez.
I think you guys all make.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
I hated that one. I hated it.
I hated it too. I'm a
Shakira hater. I'm called a Shakira hater by one of my other co-hosts who said that was his favorite, and I said nope, one of my least favorite. I actually prefer, if you look at the ones I said are my favorite, it kind of goes to what your concerns with this year's Super Bowl halftime show. Prince, he was all by himself. It was just Prince. Bruce Springsteen, it was just him and the E Street Band. You go to Bruno Mars, it was just Bruno Mars doing his thing. When you have compilations of 3, 4, 5you people in a 15-minute halftime, everybody's got to get their speed.
How are you cutting away from? I mean,
how do you cut away from Dre to Mary J. Blige? Let's get it. That's gonna kill the vibe, bro.
She's gonna get that. At least
she's got to go first. She's got to go first.
She's gonna get that in there.
Close it out with Dre and Snoop Dogg.
She can start with Real Love, Family Affair, and then she's done.
my man George getting in on the wing conversation. Try getting wings. George is over in England, and he's a huge Eagles fan. And could you imagine being overseas and being a super football fan and having to stay up till 1:30, 3:30 to watch the Super Bowl? Because you're not gonna watch it on rerun the next day. You got to stay up. And we all say we want the day after the Super Bowl to be a holiday. And if I was in England or in Europe somewhere, I'd be taking the day after the Super Bowl off, guaranteed.
For sure.
George said he does take the day off after. Always for that. All right, guys, we're about to wrap this show up. I want to give each of you guys a chance to plug your stuff. Trev, plug what you're doing with Ref the District and where they can find you and everything.
Ref the District, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. With Nathan the Stoner, I'm third voice on there. That's my Twitter handle right there at TrevHTTC. We've got a betting show on Sundays, 11 o'clock, called All Bets Aside. Regular show on Wednesdays, 7:30. And then during the football season, we have one on Mondays called Day After the Reckoning, where we talk about the previous game on Sunday for the Washington Commanders now. So, yeah, we're everywhere. Just check us out.
Awesome. And I love you. I love you, Trev. You've been on the show.
Appreciate it, Phil. Thanks for having me, dude.
Great work there. Marc.
Thank you.
Marc Saulino from Statement Games. Obviously, you guys are jam-packed this weekend with statement games at the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So it's just statementgames.com, guys. It's just a game here, but we're actually starting to do some cool things. So it's statementgames.com. We're getting a little bit more actively involved as we get deeper into 2020 in terms of white labeling or basically giving other blogs, podcasters, other sports enthusiasts how they can operate different forms of fantasy sports underneath their own umbrella, not necessarily the Statement Games brand. So keep trying to keep an eye on that. And the good thing about that is that we're providing with all the analytics, the data. And we're kind of like, showing people how they can actually engage fans with an alternative form of fantasy sports, capture a ton of data, get a better understanding of what your audience likes, what their interests are, and then actually how to start monetizing those aspects as well here. So that's kind of what we do. But from a social media perspective, it's at Statement Games on Facebook, Twitter, all the big kind of platforms. And me personally, it's just at MARC. Saulino. I can't stand it when people try spelling my name with a K. I think K's are for wimps. C's are better. At Marc Saulino, Twitter and Instagram.
My man Marc does Mondays with me. I have to say it every single week when I introduce him. It's Marc at Marc with a C. I do it so people don't get it wrong. All right, AB. Obviously you got your podcast. You're writing with Philly Sports Network. Give everybody where they can find all your stuff at.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, definitely you can follow me on Instagram at only the number one AB _ and then on Twitter only one _ AB. They may be switching. Someone stole it from Twitter, but also like you said, you can find I cover the Sixers. You can find my writing at phillysportsnetwork.com. Then also I do a weekly podcast that's on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and YouTube at Open Gym Pod, all one word.
Very nice.
Awesome. Thank you all very much for being here. It's been a lot of fun.
Man.
I cannot believe all four of us, plus my man Jason from who's out today with work. All of us went Rams, winning the Super Bowl. So that means the Bengals are going to win the Super Bowl. Monday,
no, there's got to be one time where everybody wins. I'm not sure if it's happened before, but one of these days, all of us are going to win. And I think Super Sunday is going to be the day.
I hope so. Because then that means Monday when we're back here trending in the AM, because we're live Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. Monday, guys, I do a show. It's titled Overreaction Monday. And if we all win, Overreaction Monday is going to be me just throwing money in the air. Sunday.
Let's go. Exactly.
I'm going to be counting my money anyway because it's also Super Bowl Sunday and I have a pizza shop. So, that's bonus for me altogether. Anyway, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit subscribe, follow, retweet, thumbs up. You know the drill. Smash all those buttons and just keep helping us grow this podcast. This has been a great football season of Trending in the AM. We got more coming. I just went an entire show without talking Ben Simmons, James Harden, and the Sixers. I really dominated the last 2 weeks worth of shows. And I just went, Jordan's probably so happy I did not talk Sixers once on this show today. But we'll be back to talking Sixers on Monday.
Talk about it on Monday.
Everybody have a great day. Of course, you can find me on Twitter at Bearded Knowledge. We always end the show with Go Birds, but I got a Giants fan. I got a Washington fan. We'll just say, let's take it to the payout window this weekend. Right, guys?
Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Guys, have fun. Be safe.